Hey, Charlotte, welcome and thank you for agreeing to be part of this demo. Yeah, so just to confirm on tape, you're okay with this conversation being recorded and shared, audio, video, whatever?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So why don't we begin by you telling me a little bit about what you're working on, what the issue is you would like to work on today.
So my issue is I really struggle with maintaining a clean and tidy home. Um,
Mm,
this is something that I have struggled with my whole life. Cleaning and tidying wasn't a priority for my parents. They had other more important things going on. And so I feel like we just kind of lived in a messy environment, and I've brought that into my adulthood. And now that I'm here as an adult and I'm living with other people like roommates and, my partner, I can't be, messy and untidy, and neither do I want to be.
mhm,
It affects you mentally and emotionally, I feel, when you have like an untidy space. Um, a cluttered space is also a cluttered brain. I think so. It's just always been a struggle because it's not something I ever like learned how to do or was told to do growing up, or neither was it a priority. So I feel like it's just something that needs to change, and I'm not 100% sure how to go about like taking that on sometimes.
mm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So we'll dive into it in a little bit, but first I'm curious, like, what would be an ideal outcome for you? Would it be to learn how to be neat and tidy, or if someone gave you $1 million fund for a cleaning crew to continue to be yourself but have other people, like what level would you like this to shift, and what would a great outcome be for you?
I think I think the shift I need is more of a mental shift. Like I think I get overwhelmed very easily by the the prospect of cleaning, and there just needs to be like, I'm trying to be more specific. Uh, I think there just needs, ideally, staying on top of being tidy is just something that would come to me more naturally, because I don't have this block in my mind that's saying like this is too much, or this is, I don't even know. Like it's just like there's this mental, it feels like a mental wall I have, and I want to break that down. And
Okay, great. And if you broke it down
yeah,
and cleaning came to you naturally,
yeah.
what would that look like in your life?
I think it would just look like, it would look like me being more conscious and aware of what I'm using and doing, and then instantly thereafter making sure the space is like it was before. Like say for example, I'm using the kitchen. I don't forget to leave the top off the container and leave it on the counter. I put it back on and I put it away. I don't leave the cutting board and the knife out because I thought of something else and left. And uh, it I imagine myself being more conscious of the space that I'm in and how I can make sure that it looks the way that it was when I left it.
Mhm. Okay, and so yeah, so your environment, everything is in its place, and
Mm-hmm.
after you use it, it returns to its place.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. And what would that do for your life? Like, what for the sake of what would you, because it seems like, I haven't learned how to do this. I've been doing it differently my whole life.
Mhm.
What does that buy you?
I think this having this like skill, or just, I don't know if you would call it that, but um, would just bring a lot more um, I don't the word that comes to my mind is just like a little more peace,
Mm-hmm.
a little more clarity, and like space to do things that I want to do, like outside of just work and um, playing Dungeons and Dragons every week.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's your character?
Oh, I play, well, I have two campaigns. I play a Shadarkai elf ranger and a artificer elf. I play two elves.
Gotcha. Okay. Are they tidy?
They don't need to worry about that as much. They're kind of like living in a dungeon, so they kind of, you know what? I imagine that they take good care of their stuff, so yeah,
Uh-huh.
they're probably tidier than I am.
Do they like oil their bows and
Yeah, yeah, and
keep their arrows fletched?
exactly.
Hmm. I'm sure there's a Martha Stewart dungeon magazine somewhere
Oh my
for
God, yeah,
nice touches.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
um, great. So and you also mentioned that you're now living with roommates and a partner.
Mhm.
What would you transforming into tidy Charlotte do for your relationships or for them? Is that a consideration?
Yes, a big one for me, because my partner especially has expressed to me on several occasions, like, it affects me mentally too when you're part of the room, or even, other parts of the house are messy because of you, or
Mhm.
you're not picking up after yourself. And it bothers me. And, that's not, I'm an adult now, and I feel like I don't want those sorts of things to be contentions in my relationship. And
Mhm.
I I want to, make sure that since we're sharing a space, that she can feel comfortable, in that space with me too. And that's really important. Um,
Gotcha.
so
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So I'm hearing a positive, clear, and meaningful outcome.
Hmm.
Um, so take me to what's happening now. So you mentioned a bunch of things you'd like to do, like I'm in the kitchen and I'll put the thing away. I'll clean up when I'm done. If I were to sort of, shadow you now, what would I see?
Well, um, you'd see a lot of disorganization. I feel like I have some space to put things, but I don't know how to utilize it. So what you would see right now is like lots of stacks of papers and books, and like assorted things I need to get to. And then my bookshelf uh, has no any sort of organization to it. There's kind of things shoved in there as well. And
Okay.
my
So
desk is just sort of, yeah. So
yeah.
if you were to come here right now, I think you would see just a disarray, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
What if I were watching you, like I'm watching and seeing what am I seeing and hearing when you like take me to the last time, a recent time you didn't clean up or you didn't put things away. Like was it, were you in the kitchen recently or did a laundry? Like take me to exactly what's going on.
Okay. It's
And for fun, since you play Dungeons and Dragons, you'll appreciate this. You're going to do it in the present tense, as if it's happening right now.
okay.
So you're DMing for me.
Okay. Okay. I see what you mean. Um, okay. Let me think. So the last time I left, let's say Sylvia is my partner, brought up to me that I had left like the string of the cat food container on the counter, and so I went and got and grabbed it. But in the moment of doing that, I feel very absent-minded, I guess is the word I'm
Okay,
thinking
so
of. I feel
take me to the
I'm in the kitchen and I'm opening the cupboard. I take out the cat food. I open it. I set down the thing, and then I'm just doing the cat food, and I do the cat food, and then my brain goes somewhere else, and I'm off.
Okay, where does it go in this particular instance? Do you remember what other train of thought got triggered that you followed?
No. I'm trying to think. I think I just I get several trains of thought at a time. And I tend to just like do something and then move on really quickly.
Okay. So, but did you feed the cat?
Yes.
Okay. So there was a feeling like you didn't like open the cat food container, leave it on the counter, and then go off and do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No, I was doing, yeah, sorry. I don't know if I made that clear. I left it on the counter, made the cat food, fed the cats, and then my mind didn't go to let me go clean up my mess. It went to, okay, what am I doing now? It just doesn't like.
Gotcha. So it's almost like the cleanup is a separate process.
Yes.
Right. Like you're able to follow through. You don't like flake out halfway between feeding the cats.
No.
Right. So it's like cleanup is not part of the process in your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, and is that a fairly typical example? If I asked you for several other examples, would we kind of get the same pattern?
I think so. Yeah, because like the cleaning up portion, like it isn't there for me, and I don't think about it until it's been pointed out or it builds up, and I'm just like, oh geez.
So what else builds up besides random things in the kitchen?
Just about anything. I mean, what I'm looking at right now on my desk is just like papers and books and my pillbox and.
So how do the papers get there?
Same sort of thing. I think I set them down, and I think like these are important. I'm going to deal with these, and then I move on, and then I repeat the process, and I just kind of forget in the meantime.
Okay. And you can walk past it and I guess not see it or get triggered to do anything about it, right? It's sort of,
it's like this, sorry, I don't know if you can hear that, like weed whacker outside my.
Oh, I was imagining a Clydesdale parade. So you've ruined it for me, man. Now it's just weed whacking.
I can close the window if you
That's
like.
fine. It's not bothering me, but I'm old. My younger listeners might might get into it. But like, how could you not listen? How could you deal with that weed whacking? I'm like, I heard nothing.
um, so let's see, what was I saying?
I was asking you about the fact that you don't get triggered by seeing it the way Sylvia does.
Like lack of vision when it comes to messes, like,
Uh-huh.
or it doesn't bother me, or it feels like I don't see it, or
Mm-hmm.
I yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly. I don't get triggered by it, uh,
Gotcha.
because it's just like when I grew up, stuff was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so that feels more normal to me than.
Right. So let me ask you, because you said that you thought you weren't quite sure, but you thought like a tidy and clean home would give you mental, emotional clarity.
Mhm.
But it seems like you have a lot of mental and emotional clarity because you don't see it. So it's not like it's bothering you. You know what I'm asking?
I see what you mean. I think I just feel better in a clean space. Like it's,
How do you know that? Where do you get to experience clean spaces for contrast?
I think because like, especially on like Sylvia's day off when we both like are like, okay, like let's clean. Let's like get down to it and clean together. And I've noticed that having someone with me helps a lot in terms of motivation to clean.
Hmm.
um we'll do a clean and everything will be tidy, and I'm like, wow, this is so nice. Like
Hmm.
this makes me feel good. Like this makes me feel like I could start a new project, or
Hmm. Uh-huh.
uh like just feel peaceful and read a book and not think about the fact that I should be, you know, cleaning or tidying, or because I do think about it like on the day to day I don't see it, but then when I'm like really sitting in my space and there's mess, it doesn't like feel great. I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes sense, but
Yeah, I think so. That it's all when you slow down, then it comes into focus.
yes, exactly.
And when you slow down is precisely when you don't feel like revving up and taking care of it.
Hmm.
Okay. So what you said you've had this problem, you've been this way ever since you were a kid from your home of origin. What have you tried, if anything?
I've tried mainly just kind of like beating myself up about it. Just
Hmm.
like
What does that look like
uh
or
it
sound like?
looks like it sounds like I'm closing my window. I don't like the Clydesdale.
Okay.
It sounds like you should be better at this, like you're grown up now, like you need to get your shit together, like just, and that doesn't work, of course.
When do you do that? When you sit down, slow down, and notice it, and you're like berating yourself for being that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've tried like like little tips, like um I try to repeat this mantra to myself, like don't put it down, put it away. Don't put it down, put it away. Don't
Hmm.
put it down, put it away. Like I try like these little like that sometimes works, but I forget. I'm very forgetful. I I haven't tried. I just haven't like really known what to try. I guess.
Hmm.
I guess I can like maybe schedule in my calendar, like clean.
No, let's not worry about coming up with options now. I just want to know about anything you've already tried. And
Uh,
from my perspective, the fewer things you tried, the better, because that means, if you're like, I've tried this, I've tried Marie Kondo, I've tried chaos theory, I've tried every, you know, organizing from the inside out, I'd be like, ooh, this is a tough one. Right. But if you're like, no, I haven't tried that much except beating myself up and saying mantras that I forget, then I'm like, good. Then we got a lot of things to try.
that's a good point.
It's not a problem.
Because it's, to me, it becomes less of a priority. I haven't tried a whole lot. Like I beat myself up about it, but then I just go into, like I don't see it mode and just kind of
Mm-hmm.
get rid of it. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. So my curiosity goes to, um, are you say you're like forgetful and you follow trains of thought, that lead you away from completing the task or the cleanup part of the task. And I'm curious, is this universal in your life? Like, do you do this at work or school or study, whatever you do for the rest of your time? Do you do this during Dungeons and Dragons? Like, is this sort of like how your brain operates, and here's the space where it's causing the most problems, or is this, a bit different?
Um, I would say I would say I function better at work and and at Dungeons and Dragons. I I definitely am able to focus more because I feel like I'm not just working like, or I'm not just doing things for myself. I'm doing things, you know, that involve other people and like other responsibilities and stuff. Um, my job is very interesting in the sense that there's like short spurts of time that, or sometimes long periods of time, but periods of time where I am very, very focused, and then I kind of relax and I cool down, and then I'm very, very focused, and then I,
Mm-hmm.
cool down. So um, I I feel like I function better in that way when it comes to the things like work and things I am committed to. But when it comes to doing things just for my own benefit, I I lose that focus.
Mm-hmm. So it's like an engine that you have to rev extra high to get it done at work. Like, you do it because it's important, but it's not your nature. Am I
Yeah,
saying that right?
that's kind of how it feels. Like
Mm-hmm.
I I pull it together real good for like work and school and uh, I mean, and it's all dependent on my mental health too, because I have struggled with depression and anxiety, and I'm on a fair amount of medication for those. So as long as I'm on my medication and working on my therapy and talking to my psychiatrist, like those are, it's very dependent on that as well, how well I'm able to function, uh,
Uh-huh.
like
Gotcha.
and do and complete tasks.
Mm-hmm. So I'm asking you a question that you absolutely do not have to answer, but I'm curious if you were ever diagnosed with ADD or ADHD.
I've been looking into that because I will be honest with you, I follow a lot of like mental health like TikTokers
Mm-hmm.
and they talk about ADHD and I'm like, huh, that really resonates with me a lot of the time. So I have been looking into talking to my psychiatrist about that. Unfortunately, I recently changed insurance and now I don't think he's on my insurance. So I think I need to find a new psychiatrist. So I need to do all that. But um, my dad has it. My brother takes medication for it. So
Uh-huh.
I think I might have ADHD or ADD. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
So if you, and I, I'm certainly not capable of diagnosing, but I'm curious, just if you knew that that was a real thing for you, would that change how you think about, yourself? Like, you're beating yourself up and why can't you get your shit together? Would, if someone said to you, oh yes, you have ADHD and that's why it's so hard for you to maintain focus on this stuff and that's why your spaces are messy, would that change anything for you?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I
How,
think
how
I wouldn't
so?
be surprised. I would be concerned about, you know, okay, like I think it would explain a lot of things, which is always good. But it's like, okay, what do I do now to change?
Mhm.
Like,
Okay, well, we're going to get there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Um, but just in terms of, like, from my perspective, beating ourselves up is for a lot of us a default strategy,
yeah.
and it works just well enough to keep us from trying other strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When things get really bad, we'll get off our asses and do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we can feel like, well, at least I feel bad about this, which kind of takes the edge off my guilt, right? Like, oh, I'm doing penance, I'm being punished.
Right.
Right. So, Sylvie's not the only one suffering here. Right. So I want to make sure that we have a way to neutralize that so that it opens up the space for other possibilities.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a weird question. And why don't you take a moment before answering, because it is a weird question. So without minimizing the fact that all this mess and your sort of tendency to not clean up, like, causes a space that you don't feel particularly safe and comfortable and relaxed in, and it causes interpersonal problems with the people who share your space. Is there anything good about it? Is there anything good about just not just having a messy space or not spending tons of time cleaning it? Is there anything you appreciate about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's the instant gratification, right? Of not having to deal with it, kind of, if that makes sense. It's like, oh, well, if I just let it be messy, then I don't have to do anything. And then if I don't have to do anything, then that's fine. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Um, Other than that, I can't think of a great thing about it. Other than just like
Uh-huh.
letting it be what it is. It is what it is.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't particularly bother me clearly. So,
Uh-huh. So
um,
yeah, so it sounds like it's almost a tool for practicing acceptance,
yeah.
right?
In a,
And not cleaning, feel like, looking at it and not doing anything about it sounds like it feels good.
I mean, it feels good at a very like base level. If
Mm-hmm. So tell me about that.
my
What's the good feeling?
like in my lizard brain, it's like, it's whatever. I don't care. Like it feels fine, whatever. But in my like human, like complicated brain, I'm like, no, this is bad because
Uh-huh.
of X, Y, and Z. And there's a lot of important reasons why you should, try and have a tighter space.
Okay. Yeah, but we're looking at the, the positives. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your human brain can take a break.
Okay.
Lizard brain, speak. What do you like about, having messes, being a slob?
um, you don't have to worry about cleaning. Um, you just think about other things.
What
And
what other things? What does that give you the space to think about that you like better?
um, I don't know, like my garden. What am I going to do in my
Is your garden a complete mess?
garden? My tomato plants are like monsters right now. So yeah, pretty. It's a jungle out there.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't say it's full of weeds.
Okay. Do you
But
leave your tools out in the rain?
yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So similar.
Yeah. Um,
Uh-huh.
and um, just things that interest me more, like um, what Sudoku puzzle level of difficulty do I feel like doing, or
Uh-huh.
what YouTube videos can I watch, or
So what sorts of videos do you like?
well, I'm an esthetician, so I really like waxing videos, or like pimple popping videos, or
Is it for enjoyment, or do you like professional development too? Like you learn things?
a little bit of both. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I like researching on YouTube, like different techniques and stuff. I listen to a lot of music on YouTube. Uh, I don't know. I just feel kind of lazy when I think about it. Like I would just like in my lizard brain, I'm like, laziness feels better than getting up and doing things.
Uh-huh. Is that universally true? I mean, it's not, Dungeons and Dragons seems like a fair amount of work.
It is and it isn't. It really varies how much work you want to put into it, because like you can just show up for the game every week and have a really great time, or you can also like spend your free time like developing your character backstory, and
Mm-hmm.
like reading all your spells and stuff. And sometimes I'm like that, and sometimes I'm just the person that shows up every week and has a good time. So
Uh-huh. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm hearing some self-judgment about you, just like, oh, I'm just lazy. Like, oh, when I think about it, I'm just lazy. I just want to watch pimple popping videos and listen to music and not do much. Like,
mhm.
am I hearing that right?
That's kind of what it feels like. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what would you like to be like instead?
Mm, I think I just want to like care more. Is that
Mhm.
weird? I don't know. I want to care more about myself.
Mhm. What
And, and I feel like in caring more about myself, I care more about my surroundings, and um,
Yeah.
things that affect me externally.
Do you have an experience in your life of caring more about yourself?
You mean like a specific moment?
A moment, a period of time?
Um, uh, that's something I've really struggled with. Um, I guess before I hit my like big depression, when I was like 20, 21, I cared about myself because, I kept my room decorated and nice, and I dressed nice, and I took care of myself, and then things went south, but it's something I'm like trying to rebuild, I guess. Sorry.
No, 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 that's fine. I mean, you've gotten in touch with something that you care about, right? Like, you just said like, I want to care more about myself, and you're just showing right now how much you care about yourself, because this is really important to you, right?
Yeah.
So you do care about yourself,
I must.
right? If you didn't, you wouldn't be crying.
Yeah.
So I want to offer a prejudice that I have. It's kind of a worldview, and it comes a lot from my work as a coach, which is, so we think about our heuristic is, well, first I need to think a certain way and then I'll act a certain way. Like, oh, if I cared more about myself, then I would tidy up my surroundings, right? And so we try to figure out a way to think differently so that we can act differently. And and I hear you dealing with things that are far outside of my wheelhouse, around psychiatric issues, medications, protocols that are clearly at play here, right? And I don't have any leverage to help you with those. But my bias is that feeling that we have to fix our thinking before we fix our actions is typically unhelpful and often gets in the way. And that what I find is that when we start changing our actions, that provides our brains with different inputs, and it forces us to see ourselves differently. Like, I didn't decide to become a runner. I just started running. And then after a while, I was like, oh, I guess I'm a runner. I better buy a running watch. Oh, I'm a runner. I better get 3 pairs of singlets because I need to keep washing them, right? So that gradually the identity coalesced, but the seed pearl for the identity was actions.
Yeah.
So when you said, like, when I asked you, like, what's the outcome? You said, first of all, clean and tidy home. But the second thing you said was, I want to be sort of clear and upbeat mentally and emotionally. And now you've clarified that to, I really want to be the kind of person who cares about myself. So what I see I see an opportunity in the messiness, right? Because you also said, like, I want to be conscious and aware, right? Yeah. And you thought, like, well, when my room is clean, when my home is clean, when my garden is clean, then I can be conscious and aware. What if it's the other way around? What if the messiness is an opportunity for you to practice the consciousness and awareness and the self-care that you long for?
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's a big opportunity.
Right. So to look at it, to go, to say, okay, I'm going to practice self-care now. And the self-care is not going to be right now to watch videos on YouTube. You can play your favorite music on YouTube, and go into the kitchen and say, okay, for self-care, I'm bringing awareness to the kitchen, what's one thing I can put away?
Yeah.
Right. So not to do it to beat yourself up, but to do it as a reward.
Yeah. I like that shift of thinking. I'm gonna get a tissue.
Okay. What if the mess that exists were a trigger not for, oh, I got to get my shit together. Oh, I'm so lazy. But here's an opportunity for me to practice self-care.
That sounds a lot more powerful in terms of finding the motivation to do it. Because beating myself up is just negative, and realizing that it's about caring for myself, um, and practicing self-care. Yeah, makes
Yeah.
it.
Do you have a self-care practice now, either meditation or journaling or walking, something that is in your life now that's non-negotiable?
Um, Not really. Honestly, I've been trying to work more than full time. Um, and between that and everything else, I shouldn't make excuses. I mean, I could make time, I think, but I don't make time.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm not, let's be compassionate with ourselves.
Yeah.
The answer is no, I have not. So what I want to offer is, because you said that would help me get more motivated to do it. So I would love to take motivation out of the equation, right? Because then, if you say, well, oh, good, now I'm motivated, then you're like, you're looking at yourself going, am I motivated enough to do this right now? And so it becomes like another, mental battle. Like,
Yeah.
should I, shouldn't I? What I'd like to offer is there a way that you can create some kind of daily ritual of 2 minutes where you're going to put one thing away as a form of self-care, self-love, and conscious awareness?
Yeah, I can do that.
So when would be the best time in the day to install this practice?
Probably when I wake up.
Mm.
Um, I just say that because usually that's when I have time,
Okay.
unless I wake up late, which doesn't happen that often. So.
Okay. So what are some things you might do tomorrow morning? Let's come up with a little smorgasbord.
I think I'm going to go through some papers and just throw away what I don't need.
Okay. Where are the papers?
On my desk, on my bookshelf.
Okay. Are they in the room with you now?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you willing to try something?
Sure.
Okay. So let's get into a space where you're fully present. So pay attention to your breathing for a couple of moments. Feel the breath going in and out. Feel your body rising and falling, expanding and contracting. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils, the warm air exiting. You feel you don't have to do anything to breathe. It just happens. Right. But, you don't have to deserve the oxygen. You don't have to work for it or attain a level. You don't need to have a clean house. You're getting the perfect mixture of air every second of every day. And feel your body being supported by the chair, your feet on the ground, maybe your hands in your lap or on the desk or on an armchair. And feel that you're just supported and held right here with everything you need. All right, if gravity were any heavier, you'd be like an iron filing on a magnet. If gravity were any lighter, you'd be hitting your head on the ceiling all the time. It's just perfect. And feel your desire to take care of yourself. And feel how strong that is. And it's not something that needs to get pumped up with motivation. It's just really deep inside you. Right? I just want to be well. I want to be happy. I want to be at ease in my world, in my relationships. And from that place, you take a moment to come back into the room and open your eyes. Can you walk to your desk and pick up one piece of paper while totally maintaining that orientation towards self-care, and make the act of walking, picking up the paper, looking at it, and deciding what to do with it, whether to throw it away, put it back where it was, file it, act on it, mail it, whatever it is, to make that a ritual of self-care.
You would like me to do that now, or?
Yeah, if you can, if it feels right.
Sure.
What you got?
It's an empty envelope.
Okay. Great.
Wait, let me check. Yeah, it's actually just trash. So.
Okay. So do you have a trash nearby?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see if you can keep that coming back to that orientation of self-care, self-love as you walk the envelope to the trash.
I didn't think I would get all teary.
Oh. Well, this is big stuff. This is your life. Right? I mean, I'm honored to be in this conversation with you, because this is big stuff.
Thanks.
You know, and it's so easy for us to minimize it to ourselves. Like, oh, I just cat food. What's the big deal? Like, just fucking do it. And then like when we dig a little bit, we realize this is our lives. How did that feel to go get the piece of paper, evaluate it, throw it out?
It felt good. It felt better doing it out of a place of like love.
Mm-hmm.
It did feel like I was taking care of myself and not just like doing it because I'm supposed to.
That's beautiful, because if the message, if the program running in your head is basically, oh, I come from a broken line of people who don't clean up, and now I've got to fix myself. That becomes another obligation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. And you're working more than full time. And you're dealing with mental health issues. So do you need another obligation? Right.
No.
So what if this becomes the opposite of an obligation? What if this becomes like a sacred opportunity?
Yeah. Um, yeah.
Is that one of your housemates?
Yeah. It's Sylvia. She was
It's
giving.
Sylvia.
Yeah.
Okay. Would would it be good to have this conversation with Sylvia?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like if she's there doing some with you, that's a support for you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if I were going to, recommend a meditation practice, I would recommend, same time every day. And it doesn't matter how long, like 30 seconds is fine. 2 minutes is fine. You'll find as you do it, like if you say, all right, I'm going to do 20 minutes. I'm going to do 20 minutes of cleanup every morning. Like you're going to wake up and go, oh God, I don't want to do that. Like it'll could literally last a day.
Yeah.
Right. So if you pick a time, and you give it a lower and an upper bound, like no less than a minute and no more than 3 minutes, some lower and upper bound that's going to motivate you, or at least not demotivate you.
Yeah.
To the point where, okay, this is what I do. This is my practice. At that point, you might discover, after a week, I really kind of want to do 5 minutes, or, a minute is fine. Or, this isn't working for me. It was nice when Howie was talking to me about it, but honestly, it's not working. I'm not going to do it. Like all those are fine. Right? Because this isn't about creating another damn thing in your life that is going to make you have to live up to something that's hard to live up to.
Yeah. Yeah, but that sounds like a good place to start.
Okay. All right. Because I don't know how to help you remember to throw the cat food lid away.
Yeah.
Like that may come, right, as a result of this practice.
Yeah.
Right. That all of a sudden cleaning up becomes a way to take care of yourself rather than a way to live up to other people's expectations or a way to not be bad.
Yeah.
So tell me what you think you'd like to do. What do you want to commit to yourself?
I like the idea of, I would like to commit to I think I can do 2 minutes every morning after like a little meditation of tidying. 2 minutes of tidying.
Okay. And is that your lower and upper bound? That's fine if it is.
I think that's like my lower. Like I could do more. I want to build up to more.
Okay. I want to make sure you have an upper bound that you are not willing to go over right now.
Okay.
So what feels right?
Like 5 minutes?
5 minutes. Beautiful. So how confident are you that you will do this every morning?
Well, I'm gonna set an alarm on my phone to help me. But I think I can do it. I feel confident that if I'm coming from a place of self-care, that I can make it happen.
Okay. Are there things you can do to reinforce that orientation of self-care, whether then or other times during the day or your week?
I think, yeah, it's just, I think my idea of what self-care is, you know, needs to be broadened and is broadening, to, you know, cleaning my environment and uh, doing like the hard stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's not get hung up on how hard it is,
Yeah.
because maybe it won't be hard. Maybe it's hard when we feel like it's an obligation, and it's kind of easy when we feel like it's self-care.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you do your own hair? The purple?
Yeah.
Was that hard?
It was definitely a process. Yeah, it was kind of difficult.
But in terms of motivation, did you really have to like talk yourself into it, or like was it effort? But
It was effort, but I really wanted it, and
yeah.
it wasn't that hard to talk myself into, no.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not talking about like things that are easy necessarily, but
Mhm.
things that aren't unnecessarily hard because we're fighting with ourselves,
Yeah.
right? If self-care were like coloring your hair, it's still got to pick things up, put them away, cart them out, organize them. It's still, time and effort and maybe some, thinking, but it's not like, oh, I hate this. You weren't coloring your hair purple going, oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
Okay. What about now? I know that you found me because of a book. So you're, I assume into sort of self-improvement. Are there people in that field that you connect with who talk about self-care in a way that connects with you?
Um, I haven't really been that in tune with like the, I don't know, self-help kind of community in a while. But
Can I offer a couple of names of people whose work I think might resonate with you?
yeah.
So one of them is Kelly McGonigal.
Okay, let me write that down.
And I would look for her work on self-compassion. And her last name is spelled McGonigal.
Okay.
And the other is Kristen Neff, Kristin, last name Neff, who's done a lot of research on self-compassion.
Okay.
And the other thing that comes to me is, as an esthetician, I think that might be the first time I've ever said that word. So I'm like kind of proud of myself. I think I got it right.
You did.
Esthetician, might be fun to think of your room as your client.
Yeah.
Because you clearly have an artist's eye.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good way of thinking.
does that resonate, or am I off base?
No, that sounds interesting. I don't know. Yeah. I can try that.
Okay. Have conversations with it. Oh, look at you.
We'll talk about its skin type.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that wall color behind you is very interesting. Like, maybe we can give you some nails to go with that.
Yeah.
All right. So are you clear on your next steps?
Yeah.
Great. How are you feeling?
A little emotional, but good. I feel a little more empowered to take on what I've been wanting to take on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited.
Good, good. The other thing, you said in your email, and I think also when we just started talking at the beginning of the hour, that you never learned how to do this.
Yeah.
And so, there's part of me that's like, well, you don't have to learn how to throw something out. You just throw it out. On the other hand, there's a lot of people who are really good at cleaning. And a lot of them are on YouTube. And they kind of there's a whole genre of here's how you clean this. And here's how you tidy up that. And, there's people who follow that stuff like it's porn, like it's really, like I kind of get into oh, wow, if I did that with the kitchen and I put a hook there and I hung the measuring spoons on it, ooh, so I would encourage you to think about it. If that sounds like something that would be fun, you can absolutely learn the, cool tricks and tips and techniques of house cleaning.
Okay. I'll write that down.
And I don't know offhand who the people are, but I'm sure they make, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on ad revenue on YouTube. So I'm sure you'll find them.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So cool. I would love to follow up with you. Would you be willing to email me in a couple of weeks and let me know how it's going?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for opening up and for allowing other people to see this and go on this journey with you. And I really want to honor your courage and your caring, because they're inspiring.
Thank you. I'm more than happy to share and to be here and speak with you. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Be well. Drop me a line in a couple of weeks and go take care of yourself.
I will. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Take care, Charlotte.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.